Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 113 of my brand new Comics Haul series, where I show you guys all the new books that I pick up at my local comic shop every single week, and I tell you everything you need to know about every single issue. So this week, it was a big week for Marvel, right? So I've got 7 issues from them here that I'm about to show off, starting with one of the biggest issues of the week here, but it was a big week overall. Like, DC came out with their new Titans ongoing series, as well as a bunch of other stuff, but Marvel also came out with the first issue of their new, main team book, right? So we're going to start it off with this. Biggest release of the week probably is Avengers issue number 1. So Jason Aaron just wrapped up his run in Avengers. It went for I think 6 or 7 years, so he had a pretty long one. I really like that whole Avengers Assemble event that they did to wrap it up. I don't think too many people read it, but I was recommending that the whole time it came out, right? But I'm still really excited for this new run because we've got Jed MacKay writing this. The art is going to be by CF Villa. I think they've worked together before on the Black Cat series that Jed MacKay wrapped up his run on recently. But we've got a new lineup of heroes here. It's a lot of the same. We've got like the big three, right? Like Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. This time it's Sam Wilson though. Black Panther, Captain Marvel are still on the team. Then we've got Vision and Scarlet Witch on there. So kind of an interesting lineup, right? Let's take a look at some of the interior artwork here though. It's looking pretty clean. I'm liking the drawings in here. The colors obviously are popping off the page. So yeah, I've been really excited for this one for a while. Jed MacKay is one of my favorite writers at the moment. If you guys aren't reading Moon Knight, I strongly recommend hopping on that book. And yeah, hopefully he's good at writing team comics. I don't think he's done too much of that now that I'm thinking of it, but yeah, I'm not going to get too far into this. I think I do want to post a short review of this one, just a non-spoiler one. So that should be put out shortly after this one if you guys want to see what I think of this book. And if you've already read this, I'm really curious to know what you're thinking of this new Avengers run. Next up, though, another pretty big issue from Marvel. This is an anniversary one. We've got Fantastic Four. This is number 7, but it's number 700 in legacy numbering. So this costs $6. They do give you like a better quality cover, though, and I think you get like 40 pages of content instead of 20. So it's at least worth your money. This is going to be my last issue of the series. I dropped it. I just decided to at least wait until the 7th issue because we've got the anniversary and Doctor Doom is a part of it, so it might actually be kind of a big deal. But yeah, this run compared to Dan Slott's run that just wrapped up before this relaunch happened has been really disappointing in my opinion. It has taken the focus off of like the family dynamic of the Fantastic Four with Reed and Sue as well as Ben and Alicia having their own kids. They did this weird kind of annoying story arc at the beginning, right, where it turned out that there's like a time glitch that Reed Richards had to send the kids on, as well as like the whole block that they lived on in the Baxter building. He had to like set them forward a year in time to meet them in the future to avoid them being killed in like an alien invasion. It was kind of confusing. It just, I don't know. That was like my favorite thing about Dan Slott's run, right? It was like capturing the family dynamic, really pegging down the character interactions and building up like Ben and Alicia as parents and stuff. We don't have any of that in this new run. And the issues are really dialogue heavy, honestly pretty boring. I don't want to hate too much on this book. Maybe there's some people that are enjoying it, but yeah, Ryan North is kind of throwing away what Dan Slott built up, in my opinion. So this will be my last issue. The artwork in here is really clean, though, by Ivan Coelho, I'll say that much. I haven't heard too much about this even. Like, Alex Ross is doing the covers and stuff, but yet it's a pretty low profile series as of now. If you're still reading this, let me know your thoughts on it. I'm actually very curious. But yeah, I'm going to end it off there with that series. Next up, this is kind of a one-shot, bridging the gap between 2 different runs of this series. But this is Hulk, so this is the annual issue number 1. You just get like I think kind of like a self-contained Hulk story in here. I don't know how important it's actually going to be, or whether or not it's even set in between the 2 Hulk runs, or what the deal is. But there's also like a 5-page story I think in the back that kind of previews the next run of Hulk. So I have yet to read that last issue of the last Hulk run. I think it was number 14. I'm a little behind on reading right now. But Donny Cates hopped off of that comic. Something happened, I think, personally to him. So he wasn't able to write Hulk or Thor for the last few months. So they're just wrapping up that Hulk series after Ryan Ottley has taken over for the last few issues of it. And they're relaunching with new number 1, where we've got Philip Kennedy Johnson writing. And the new artist is going to be Nick Klein, right? So I'm really excited for that new creative team. And it looks like they're going to be like kind of embracing the horror aspect of things again. So we'll see about this one-shot story. I don't really know that there's anything too special about it. The artwork looks fine, but I'm more getting this for the backup that's leading into the new thing, right? So here's some of that artwork for the backup story. We'll see about that. Really curious to see what that new Hulk run is going to have to offer, but this issue in and of itself could also be interesting. It has something to do with like a film crew that's filming like a documentary about Hulk from the synopsis that I've read. Next Next up from Marvel, though, I guess it's only stuff from Marvel this week. But next up, another team book that just started up. It's Guardians of the Galaxy #2. So they did, like relaunch the series and start a new ongoing just in time for the movie. Marvel usually tries to market along with the MCU, but this is also totally doing its own thing. It's not copying what was going on in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 at all. We've actually got this kind of ambitious, new concept behind the series that I'm really liking so far based on that first issue. So the team is kind of disheveled. They're not at all what they used to be, or not at all what they were left off at. The point they were left off at the end of the last run, where they're defending the galaxy. They had uniforms and they're more organized and everything. Suddenly they're very disorganized. Only a few of the founding members are still in the team. And it's become kind of a Western thing where this ragtag group of Guardians is going around the galaxy trying to save planets in the kind of busted down ship that they have left from Groot fall. So there's this mysterious thing going on with Groot where now he's this planet eating force, kind of like Galactus used to be, where he burns down planets. I won't say too much more than that. You've got to check this out for yourself, but yeah, so far really good. I'm liking the artwork in here. And yeah, these writers, Jackson Kelly and Colin Lansing, I might have butchered their names, I'm not sure, but they're doing great. They're also writing that Steve Rogers Captain America ongoing series, so I think they're going to be pretty big writers for in the future at Marvel. They're giving them more and more stuff, so I'd keep an eye on this book. I really like that first issue, but yeah, that's #2. Next up, though, we've got some stuff in the Spider-Man side of the Marvel Universe here. This first one here is Miles Morales Spider-Man #6. So more importantly, though, this is Carnage Reigns Part 2 of 7. So Marvel trying to get their money out of doing another crossover like this, right? So make sure that if you're only reading Miles or if you're only reading Carnage, just make sure that you're getting all these issues, unless you just want to skip the event altogether. Yeah, so you're kind of forced into buying other issues of ongoing series you might not necessarily be getting. In my case, I was lucky enough to have been caught up in all the series that they're actually putting out here. But yeah, so that Carnage Reigns Alpha one-shot, it was just okay. I think this event overall is going to be a little bit of a throwaway because it didn't do anything too important. It's definitely not very high stakes. It's just more of a ground level event between Miles with the Scorpion being involved. He's now in kind of a Suicide Squad situation where this task force that's trying to subdue superhero activity, kind of from what was going on in Civil War, right? They've imprisoned him, and now they're taking time off of his sentence whenever he does good. So it looks like he's teaming up with Miles here, going against Cletus Cassidy in this stronger form where he's separated from the Carnage symbiote. He's doing his own thing, and he's taking over this building. And now Miles is trying to take him down or figure out what's actually going on. So I don't know how they're going to stretch this into 7 issues. Based on that first issue, the Alpha issue, it really didn't seem like there was that much of an idea behind the event. So this might be kind of a slow burn. You might have to keep reading to find out more about what's actually going to be going on. But yeah, original Miles creative team that's been doing all the issues is also on this issue, so it's cool to see that they're not having any guest art or anything, and I'm loving this series so far. That's Miles #6. Next up, though, this is an issue of a series that's actually also going to tie into Carnage Reigns. I think there's only one issue of this series that's going to be tying in, though. This is Red Goblin, it's #4, but the 5th issue is the 5th or 6th part of the Carnage Reigns event, I think. So this issue, I think, should just wrap up this current storyline. The series has been pretty good so far. I haven't been necessarily loving it, but it's entertaining enough to keep reading, right? Really cool covers here. The whole idea behind the series is just kind of weird that there even is a Red Goblin ongoing series, right? It's an offshoot of not only Spider-Man but also an offshoot of Venom and kind of an offshoot of Carnage. It's such a sub-series, but it's kind of crazy for this character to have an ongoing. But it centers around Normie Osborn, who's Harry Osborn's son, right, and Norman Osborn's grandson. So one of the big things in here is just the family dynamic between Normie now having his own symbiote and kind of taking on his grandfather's role that he used to have as the Red Goblin, but making himself more of a hero. The symbiote that he's working with is adolescent, like he is, so it's kind of a cool dynamic where it's uncooperative and just goes off on its own and does stuff sometimes. So they're kind of building their relationship a lot like Eddie Brock and Venom did in early issues of Venom and Spider-Man and stuff. But of course, Norman Osborn is the Gold Goblin right now, and that's what's on the cover here is them fighting. So interesting family dynamics. We've also got that Cult of Carnage Misery series that started, right, with Normie's mom. So we've got a 3-generational symbiote thing going on. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, this is all part of the Summer of Symbiotes event thing that Marvel's also doing, and we'll see how this ties into Carnage Reigns. But that's Red Goblin #4. Last issue I picked up from Marvel, though, this is another one I'm not fully caught up on. I think I still have to read the 12th issue, but this is #13 of She-Hulk. Ongoing series, not too much happening in it. I've still been liking it, though. It's at least worth picking up monthly. My main complaint about this series is just that there's not really enough that's jam-packed into each issue. It's very, very lighthearted. It's probably the easiest read that you'll find in any Marvel issues. They do a good job of like building up drama though over the course of many issues. So one of the big focuses of this series so far has been... Sorry, that was my dog in the background if you heard that. But one of the main focuses of the series so far has been like a relationship between Jack of Hearts and She-Hulk, their romance like budding ever since he was resurrected. So although I feel like this is maybe not the best way to write a comic, to have like very little happen and most of the comics be just like character dialogue and not very many looming villains or anything, I do think that it does a good job of like building up drama, a lot like a TV show or something would, right? It almost feels like a sitcom. So kind of a weird look for She-Hulk, but I'm liking it so far. I'll keep getting it unless it really spirals downhill. It's a fun read, and sometimes that's, what you need, just kind of a break from the regular comics. Those were all the books I picked up this week, though. I know it was a pretty big haul for me, at least this week, even though I only got Marvel issues. Really curious what you guys are thinking of this week's comics, though. If you're planning on getting any of those Dawn of DC books, I know I'm not getting any because I don't read DC, but let me know what you guys are thinking of all that's happening over there down in the comments section below. Really appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't hit the sub button below, make sure to go do that if you've been enjoying the content, and I'll see you guys for next week's haul. Bye, guys.